We are back with a tourbillon watch. We'll say, wow, again, a tourbillon watch. The only difference is that this one is 1.85 millimeters.
This is a 2 Swiss francs coin, and the coin looks like a big watch compared. I go down to a 1 franc coin.
And then it matches.
Welcome back to WatchAdvisor on YouTube, where the watches are the stars. But today there is a superstar sitting beside of me. It's
Always flattering me, Alexander.
No. Jean-Christophe Babin, who really brought Bulgari to other spheres in the last years since he is the CEO there. But we know each other for many more years than this.
Yeah.
Takoya, etc., etc. When he comes, he's like a tank, you know. He's like boom.
But I have a heart.
Of course, it's not negative, but it's your power, yeah. There are a few managers like you out there that really move and shake this industry. You have done it. I've been following you for how long? 25
More than 2 decades, yeah, 25.
25 years. And when he did something, it was always wow. Always wow, wow. And again this year, wow, wow, wow.
Thank you.
Let's jump into what you have been doing. You remember, guys, that we have been filming the world records of Bulgari the last years. We have been very closely following what they have been doing. We're also showing in videos how they manufacture these things. And this year they surprised the world with the thinnest ever manufactured tourbillon watch.
Which takes us back 11 years ago in 2014 in Basel, when we had the first Finissimo.
Yeah.
And it was already a tourbillon. And this stupefied the world because it was the thinnest ever tourbillon watch. And it was 5 millimeters, which indeed is very slim, with the goal of launching the most elegant contemporary collection for gentlemen, because the gentlemen were moving slim fit for their styling, very modern and essential for the interior design. So there was not really a watch fitting with the style and with lifestyle. 11 years later, we are back with a tourbillon watch. We'll say, wow, again, a tourbillon watch. The only difference is that we call it Ultra because there's something different. It's again a world record, but the difference is that in just 11 years, 10 movements later, because in those 11 years we have crafted 10 different ultra-thin movements, including minute repeaters, chronograph, tourbillon chronographs, perpetual calendars. The difference is that...
But remember one thing, Jean-Christophe, I was asking you when you were presenting all these watches, can you go thinner? And you said, of course, wait.
And so I said the first one was 5 millimeter and it was a big wow. This one is 1.85 millimeters.
This is a 2 Swiss francs coin, and the coin looks like a big watch compared. I go down to a 1 franc coin.
And then it matches.
This is simply stunning. If you can imagine, it is as thin as a 1 franc coin. The 2 franc coin is ready to fit. And in the beginning, we were showing 5 franc coins. And if we would do that, this would look,
Yeah, a big difference.
Big difference.
And what's magic, if you give me the one?
I give you the one.
Basically, you look at the diameter, you can have 4 coins, more or less. And you have 243 components. You divide 240 by 4, it's 60. So this means that that coin is containing 60 components, which is even more mind-blowing because not only it has to contain them, but those components have to talk to each other. Because to give time, it's a chain. It's a chain.
Yeah, of course.
And the magic of this watch is that it's seen as a coin, a very small one.
Yeah.
But additionally, it gives precise time.
Yeah.
Additionally, we had the luxury not only to have the thinnest ever tourbillon watch in the world, but it's a skeleton, meaning that in a limited space, we managed to eliminate, take away more, so that you can see through, because not all skeletons are see-through. This one is a see-through skeleton, so I can see you very well. Look at me.
Yes, I see you.
Hello, Alexander.
Yes, I see you.
Yeah, you see me very well.
Yes, but I can see you through a lot of little...
Yeah, but at least you see me. So it's
of course I see you.
It's a true skeleton, a see-through skeleton, making it, even more fascinating, as well as light.
Yeah.
Because we talk about 43 grams.
I had it in my hands. It will melt on your wrist, with your wrist.
Basically, it's a caress. You hardly feel it.
Yeah.
You know, to the point that in those days, I wore it at some evening and venues. At a certain point, I said, shit, where is my watch?
You forgot your watch.
But it was just on my wrist. So this is really the ultimate expression of the Ultra collection started 2 years ago. We started, with the first Ultra. Last year we came with a COSC Ultra. And this year, for the first time, we had a grand complication, which is a tourbillon. It's probably the most famous and desired complication on the market, but a tourbillon never seen before for its mini size and ultimate thickness, which is so thin.
So end of your career, once you will retire, I hope you never do, but then we will have minute repeater, tourbillon, grand sonnerie, petite sonnerie, then we will get a split-second chronograph. We can add GMT, and this will be not 1.8 but 1.35 millimeters.
You know, the beauty of watchmaking, and this is why I've been passionately working in it since 25 years, is that eventually when you're there, you eventually realize that there are no real limits. But obviously you have to dare, because you can fail.
Tag Heuer, you started 1/10th of a second, then you said, okay, we can do 1/100th of a second, 1,000th of a second.
Yeah. And we did it.
Yeah, of course, I remember.
Because if you don't dare, you never make. The only thing we didn't manage was 1/10,000th of a second.
Okay.
Because we had to stop at 1/5,000th of a second.
Also good to know for you that he just was appointed the new CEO of the watchmaking brands of LVMH. So he is now the big boss of all the watchmaking brands. He's also in charge of Tag Heuer. You could tell the Tag Heuer team to do it now.
Perhaps.
Yeah, you're the boss. You could tell them.
First,
you inspire them at least.
First, I want to hear from them what they propose, and then we're gonna discuss.
But I come with you, and let's challenge them a little bit. Okay.
I think they still like very much ultimate precision because they are back to Formula One. So it's a good.
They would need 1/10. They would go.
Well, Formula One is 1/10,000th of a second.
Okay.
That's difficult mechanically, but we stopped the adventure at 1/5,000th of a second. So we are halfway to the 10,000. So who knows? Time will tell.
I told you, he is incredible. It's the charisma. Talking with you, you can't say no because you tell them and then you convince them and they do. And you succeed.
Yeah, because as I'm ignorant, I cannot see any limit. No, because the less you know, the more daring you are.
Yeah, of course.
When you know, you are somehow prisoner of your knowledge.
Yeah.
When you don't know much, because I'm not a watchmaster, I'm not a master jeweler, so I can ask things that people who are experts would never dare asking because they believe it's impossible.
Yeah.
As I'm not knowledgeable, I don't see why it's not possible when you can send, a rocket on the moon. So it's true that watchmaking is a category which has been innovated moderately, let's put it that way.
Yep.
In a world which conversely is evolving extremely quickly. So I don't pretend that we can go as quick as digital with mechanical expertise, of course, but for sure we can go beyond the 19th century. This is what we are trying to do.
But without guys like you, there wouldn't be any Octo Finissimo, there wouldn't be any Serpenti developments, there wouldn't be so many things not yet existing, and this is what the industry needs. And this is because I'm so a big fan of you, Because I am in the industry for almost 30 years, and when I sometimes see some other managers, I ask myself, what is he doing there?
What you have to realize when you work in our luxury, and it's true for watches, it's true for jewelry.
Nobody needs anything of that what we are doing.
Absolutely.
And so we have
not only, but most people never buy one first, even when they have the money, and the purchase is very occasional. So the only way, to develop the category and your brand is to surprise the people and to excite the desire. Because otherwise, why should you buy another watch?
Yes.
Most people, they have one luxury watch and they're happy with it. So if you come with something really breaking the code, then they will start to pay attention and say, oh, well, that sounds strange and different. I've never seen that before. And then interest starts. And this takes me to the second novelty, jumping from the ultra thin to the ladies.
Daring also, very much daring. And it is stunningly beautiful.
Serpenti was born as a watch in 1948. It was a secret watch. So basically a snake body, which can wrap around the wrist, with a snake head. And the only difference versus this one is that you had a lead, which was the head of the snake.
Yeah.
And opening the lid, you could watch the time. And it was a jewelry watch. So we crafted maybe 10, 15, 20 per year. And this has been the story until 2010. So only 15 years ago, when we developed a more daily version, more accessible, called turbo glass, where you still have the body of the snake, the head of the snake, but it's still a pretty literal, figurative expression of a snake. You are buying a snake.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's great because this is our bestseller.
Yeah.
And this has positioned Bulgari as a major player in the luxury ladies market. But on the other hand, some people are not necessarily attracted by snakes. Of course. Because it's an animal which can be seduction and power and
can also bite.
Metamorphosis, but it can also bite. And also the shape itself, some people love it, ovoid, but we know that a lot of people prefer round watches or square watches or rectangular watches or whatever. So we wondered, how can we broaden the snake appeal without compromising with the snake asset? Because the snake is a big asset. This year, for instance, in China is the year of the snake. Bulgari is the star. And we decided to do what we had done in jewelry, because in jewelry we had the same thinking a few years back. From a figurative snake jewelry, where you could have a pendant with a snake head, we added to the collection a very symbolic expression of the snake, where you can see a snake, but you can see, first and foremost, a beautiful piece of modern jewelry. And so with Fabrizio Bonamassa, our chief designer, we decided to apply the same recipe to the snake, and we created what is, for me, a beautiful object of modern art. It's pure.
Yes.
It's extremely contemporary.
It's soft. There is no edge.
It's not wrapping around. You have to open it.
It shows it.
And close it.
And it shows the time.
It shows the time. And the head, you can see a snake.
Yes.
I cannot deny.
But not necessarily, it must not necessarily be.
Exactly.
Yes.
And in that context, this is the first serpentine of the 21st century. Because it's the first time in more than 75 years, then we depart from the original design, which was figurative, to add a second collection, which is more symbolic. Mm-hmm. And this collection, being more symbolic, is obviously very complementary on the one hand, but also more attractive to the present one, because it leaves imagination much more open. If you want, as you rightly said, see a snake, you see it immediately. But if you want to see an expression of modern geometry, you see it as well.
I can imagine that Fabrizio went forward, backward, a couple of times. Huh?
But you know that the sketches were not very convincing, to be very frank. Mm. Fabrizio, I'm sorry, but you know it. And when we got the first prototypes, then it was wow immediately.
When you saw the first drawings, you weren't convinced.
I love the idea to turn the snake into a more symbolic and abstract design, because the idea was bright, but the rendering didn't pay justice to the execution. And then when we made the first mock-ups, with 3D printing, we started to realize that it was a beautiful shape. So from 3D printing, we went to gold 3D printing, you know that some jewelry is there, and we said, wow, that's incredible. Mm-hmm. And then we decided immediately to go for it, because it was a great opportunity to add a second leg to the Serpenti watches.
And how do you call it then?
Serpenti Eterna, eternity. Because we believe that this shape will be timeless. You know, it's so pure, and the purer, the more timeless. Purity, a drop of water is timeless.
Yes.
It's beautiful, it has ever been beautiful, will ever. And this is pure. And obviously, it comes to start with two versions. The one you have in your hands, which is half pavé or rose gold. We have the full pavé on white gold. But then it's only the beginning, because we really want to turn it into a full-fledged collection with a broad price span. It will never be a daily watch at 5,000 euro, because it will be gold at minimum. But it could span anywhere between 20 to 300,000, which is already a big market.
Depending on what you do with it in terms of stones, etc.
Exactly. It could be also beautiful in plain gold. We have also already prototypes in plain gold. It looks really good.
I believe.
So this is really, for us, a major event, because Serpenti is already Bulgari, and Bulgari is Serpenti, somehow.
But the same applies to Octo Finissimo.
Yeah, but Octo is a watch only.
Yeah, but
never forget that the Serpenti is a jewel.
Octo Finissimo, some people only talk about Octo Finissimo. They don't even mention anymore that it's Bulgari. Because Octo Finissimo is Bulgari, there's no doubt.
Oh, for sure. When you see one, it cannot be anything else than Bulgari. And Serpenti as well has managed, to become Bulgari. Yeah. And obviously, it's one reason more to add a second leg to the historical heritage. And this is, let's say, the modern translation of the history. But we go one step further with that, being much more symbolic. Yeah. And we know, based on the success of the Viper collection in jewelry, that the potential can be really, really substantial.
I'm sure. I got lots of feedback here on the show already concerning this piece.
Really?
And, yeah. Lots of colleagues said to me, look, I've seen lots of jewelry, lots of stuff, but this really stands out. It stands out.
Great.
Because it is what you said. It is still Serpenti, but
More than a Serpenti.
more than a Serpenti.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me interrupt this video for a short moment, please. We need you to join our community on our website, www.watchadvisor.com. You can now discover more content. We are going to create forums. We have discussions. You can share stuff. You can come in discussion with me. We're going to present you more insights, more in-deep videos, more in-deep information, and so on and so on and so on and so on. It's all about watches. WatchAdvisor is the name. I am the Watch Advisor, you know that. This was the reason I'm interrupting this video, and now enjoy the rest of it.
But we don't forget our big success to Bogas. I think the only thing which we were lacking in Serpenti, Bogas and Sedutary was the mechanical movement. Because today the watch market for ladies is growing much faster with mechanical, but we couldn't. Because the shape of the head was totally incompatible with any existing movement. So we had to create the Bulgari solo tempo. So we created a new movement which could fit into the Serpenti head. Because Serpenti is so important for us that it's worth creating a new movement. And this new movement called the solo tempo is much more than a solo tempo. It's a feminine translation of Finissimo. I explain myself. A movement is not about thickness or thinness. It's not about diameter. It's about volume. The volume of the components. I give an example. You take a glass of whiskey and a glass of champagne. One has a big diameter and is pretty low. The other has a small diameter and is pretty high. You put the same amount of water. So whiskey will be a finissimo because it will look empty, but you have water. So champagne will look full, but it has a very small diameter. So thanks to Finissimo, with Finissimo, we didn't only achieve ultra thin, we achieve ultra small volume. And when you apply the ultra small volume philosophy to a ladies movement, what you get something thicker than Finissimo, but with a small diameter, like the champagne example I made versus the whiskey.
But anyhow, the head of the snake is not thin, so you were able to fit in.
Exactly, but on the other hand, this is the thinnest self-winning movement on the market. But it's not ultra thin like a Finissimo. But the secret has been not the thinness. The secret has been to understand that a movement key quality is the volume.
And this is eternal. Quartz is not.
Absolutely. And it's more noble. Because we talk about, high-end, we talk about integrity, we talk about artisanship, but more importantly, it's craftsmanship in and out. And this is what people want today.
Yes.
It cannot be only, the outside, which is beautiful, but the inside must be beautiful as well. It was more a limitation for us to be quartz only. And nevertheless, the attractiveness of Serpenti is so strong that it's a very big collection in terms of sales. And obviously coming now with a mechanical engine on top of quartz, because it's not replacing entirely. Some quartz references will disappear to leave room to some mechanical, but we'll keep quartz because we know that at certain price points, some clients as well, they like the idea of quartz that for 5 years will run seamlessly without resetting it. But we are the last brand for ladies coming with a mechanical movement.
And then you do it best.
Already having a very strong quartz base on a very expensive watch, which is quite unusual, if I may say so. So this is also for us a major step forward because eventually we've managed to put a self-winding mechanical movement in the Serpenti head. And this is big, especially when I think about the Asian markets, but European markets as well, and more the American market. So it's universal. And let's never forget that beside women appreciating the artisanship of a mechanical movement, half of the market is a gifting market from a man to a woman. And a man has a lot of difficulties to offer to a beloved woman a quartz watch, because in his value set, quartz is not an option. A man wants a mechanical watch. And therefore, the fact that we have Serpenti available now with a mechanical movement, both Sedutary and to Bogas, makes it more giftable than ever before.
I always say that quartz has no soul. It is useful, as you said, if you don't want to touch anything, you just take it and put it. But if we talk about our passion, that's watchmaking, quartz has no soul. This watch has a soul.
Exactly, and this provides, it is a good thing because With quartz only, we managed to build a pretty significant business. I can tell you that it's big.
Of course.
But we reached only maybe half of the potential only because we had no mechanical movement. And now it's there.
Creating emotions.
Yeah, and opening it to gifting much more.
Yeah.
And opening it to those ladies who want full authenticity, which means obviously a mechanical movement. Furthermore, it's not a market movement. It's a movement which has been specifically developed by Bulgari, which is crafted and assembled in Le Sentier. So it's a pure Bulgari movement.
Le Sentier, if you hear the word, check out our videos. They are on our channel. We have been to the manufactory of Bulgari where we showed you in all details how they make the movement. So it's no cheating. They do everything in-house, I can promise you. And they were open. Thank you very much once again for letting us in also.
We have nothing to hide.
No, I know. Well, I know. This is when we get in.
Exactly.
Mostly when we're not allowed to get in, they have something to hide.
Exactly.
That is a story that I know for not centuries, but
Decades.
decades.
Let's put it that way. Don't age too fast.
Not too old. I could listen to Jean-Christophe for hours because this is fascinating. You know, the industry is losing movers and shakers, people like you who come in with emotions, and when they come, it's like a tank. You go, but not negative. I don't assume it always negative. It's just the force. You know, when you see a tank, you get afraid, and when you come, everybody gets scared in a positive way because then the people know he wants it, and I have to do it. So, can you please continue doing this for the next as long as you're here?
Yeah, as long as I will remain ignorant, I will have no limits.
Okay, good. If you plan to travel one day and you have never been to a Bulgari hotel, is also what he's doing. Go to a Bulgari hotel and then you will know that the hotels in the future where you want to stay are called Bulgari. It is because he pulled in so much emotions, so many things are just, you expect as a traveler, they are there. When you come to a hotel, things are there.
Because an hotel, you know, for us is a pinnacle of luxury because you buy emotion only.
Yeah.
When you check out, basically you've spent the cost of a watch or the cost of a jewel, but the jewel and the watch, you take it back home for decades. The hotel night or evening or both will remain only a memory. But it needs to be a 3,000 to 50,000 euro memory, which is not easy because it's not the mattress making the difference. I mean, anyone can buy a good mattress. It's just the service,
it's
the way you are cocooned, treated, the interior design, the Italianity, which is unique because, believe it or not, we are the only Italian hospitality collection in the world. When Italy is famous for its hospitality when it comes to people. But there is only one collection of Italian hotel, and it's Bulgari from a jeweler, which is quite astonishing.
This is astonishing, yeah. Okay, this was advertising for Bulgari, so I got
advertising.
I will get my bonuses to stay in those hotels for the
for the next decade, no, the next century, the next century.
Okay. Jean-Christophe,
Alexander, as usual, a great pleasure. Always
I'm
stimulating to talk with you.
Yes,
Yes,
big pleasure.
You are full of energy as well.
Yes, I love it because this is what I'm doing here. I try to create emotions. I try to transport what you are doing through the camera to my audience, and I want to.
Because like me, you love what you do.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is a secret.
And you know the big beautiful thing here is that we are in a bubble. It's a beautiful bubble, and it's nice.
Oh yeah, we are very lucky.
Yes,
That's for sure.
best last word. We are lucky. Bye bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot for watching the video on WatchAdvisor on YouTube. And if you think that this is your channel, please check out our website, WatchAdvisor.com, and especially our community section on our website to really get in touch with us, to share lots of things. You will get more detailed information about the watch industry, in-deep videos, more fun will happen there. So if you're interested, have a look at WatchAdvisor.com.